Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel Pena, and I'll be participating in debate number 4. I believe the US was correct in dropping the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So, first, before the bombs were even dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the US did drop flyers warning the Japanese people to evacuate their cities, for they would be attacked by American bombers. And there is proof in the archives that Hiroshima was dropped flyers by the United States that detailed the specific attack that would happen and that the atomic bomb would be dropped and its complete destructive power on the city. It warned that all Japanese citizens living in Hiroshima should evacuate as soon as possible. The US wanted to maintain and minimize as many civilian casualties as possible, while also striking a great blow into the heart of the Japanese Empire to force them to surrender. Second, the heavy casualties sustained by our forces during the battle for Okinawa proved to the US leadership that the Japanese would have stopped at nothing, even sacrificing 250,000 Japanese troops and civilians to continue fighting the US on every front as possible to protect the Japanese home front and their empire. Third, fighting the Japanese on home soil, which would have been called Operation Downfall, the codename given to the US invasion of Japan, would have led to great advantages to the Japanese forces. They would have had complete time to do full militarization of their nation. They would have had civilian militias back up their troops while fighting us. They would have had the remnants of their air force to attack us in our ships. And our forces would have to have deal with a typhoon that would have caused great damage to our navy and hurt our complete invasion of Japan. Fourth, Truman and his staff were given projections about the casualties the US could potentially sustain if Operation Downfall did go through. While no one can confirm if these numbers were in fact correct at all, the numbers given to President Truman ranged that our casualties would be around 1 million, and that would have been a great price to pay to end the campaign in the Pacific. Finally, by 1945, US morale in the World War was decreasing heavily. Many Americans wanted this war to end and bring our troops back. And if the papers about Operation Downfall are true, US leadership and military leaders suggested that Operation Downfall would have taken between 1 to 2 years to complete. And the question is, would the US have had the ability to maintain its wartime support to do a complete invasion of Japan and successfully liberate them and defeat the empire once and for all? Finally, we can all agree that looking back at it now, dropping the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki was not morally correct of us to do. However, was it morally correct of the Japanese to launch a surprise invasion on Pearl Harbor? Was it morally correct for the Japanese to conduct human experimentation on Chinese prisoners during the war? Wartime blurs what is and isn't morally correct. And it's not, or it's only until we enter that time of peace that we can correctly look at our actions and criticize ourselves and say this was not morally correct of us to do. However, war changes us. And at that point in time, President Truman and American leadership believed that the only way to protect the United States and to sustain far less casualties than predicted if we had completed a full invasion of Japan would have been to drop the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And in short, I would like to leave off with these words of General Richard Sherman. Quote, "War is hell. We do a lot of things at war to lead us to success. to get that full on victory. And unfortunately, we did have to drop the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to cripple the Japanese Empire and to force them to surrender. Thank you.